We began yesterday in Deuteronomy 12, the first 14 verses, talking about God calling his people to worship him in a different way from the nations around, in a different way from those Canaanite peoples. And Moses is going to continue in the remaining verses here, Deuteronomy 12, 15 to 28, describing another aspect of that worship, but an aspect of that worship that is still unique from the cultural around, but also addresses practicality in the life of his people and the overarching care that God has for life. So join me if you would. I'm not going to read the whole section. I'm going to read Deuteronomy 12, verses 20 to 28 right now. When the Lord your God has enlarged your territory as he promised you, and you crave meat and say, I would like some meat, then you may eat as much of it as you want. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far away from you, you may slaughter animals from the herds and flocks the Lord has given you, as I have commanded you, in your own towns. You may eat as much of them as you want. Eat them as you would gazelle or deer. Both the ceremonially unclean and clean may eat. But be sure you do not eat the blood, because the blood is the life, and you must not eat the life with the meat. You must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the eyes of the Lord. But take your consecrated things and whatever you have vowed to give, and go to the place the Lord will choose. Present your burnt offerings on the altar, the Lord your God, both the meat and the blood. The blood of your sacrifice must be poured beside the altar, the Lord your God, but you may not eat the meat. Be careful to obey all these regulations I am giving you, so that it may always go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is good and right in the eyes of the Lord. So this second portion, verses 26 to 28, we read kind of the standard expectation about sacrifices that God's people make, right? They have to make it in the right place, which will become the temple. They have to sacrifice the meat and the blood, the whole sacrifice, to be burnt, to worship the Lord, to seek forgiveness of sins, and to show dependence upon him. But what's really interesting is this section, verses 20 to 25, describing how they are to eat meat. Now, the concern that Moses and God are looking at is that, well, if we can't get to the temple or the tabernacle to make sacrifices, are we allowed to kill animals and eat the meat? Right? Remember, they're coming out of 40 years in the wilderness when God provided their food. They didn't have to do this. So they're wondering, how do we eat meat, or can we eat meat if it's not related to the worship of God? And God says, yes, of course. Eat meat. He wants the people to worship him properly, only offer sacrifices at the right place, but they're given the ability and the instruction on eating meat as normal, providing for God's people and providing for proper worship. Now, a third point that's really incredible, I think, to me, is that God gives them instruction as they eat meat. He said, you can eat meat, you can kill the animal if it's not a religious sacrifice, but make sure you still drain the blood and don't consume any of it. Now, this is not a part of the worship here. This is to say, because the blood is where the life of the animal is. Now, if you recall, we look back all the way to Genesis 9, when God's people are told not to eat the blood in the meat they're eating or sacrificing. Blood is not to be eaten. And we even look forward to the book of Acts, when the church is trying to make provision in Acts 15, verse 20, for the Gentiles to be a part of the predominantly Jewish church at the time. And one of the key instructions they're given is not to eat the blood that is in the sacrifice. This is instruction from God from the very beginning of humanity, through the Exodus, through the giving of the law, through the Old Testament period, into the first century and the first church. What's the point? The point is that life belongs to God. While the people here are given the flesh of the life of the animal belongs to God. The implication goes even further than just animals we eat, but all living beings, all people. Life is God's domain. And the point that the author, that Moses is making, that God is making through Moses, is that taking life is only God's prerogative. Whether it be an animal for consumption, we do it in the way God instructs, and we don't consume the life, only the meat. Taken even further into humanity, we don't kill others. We honor life, whether it be unborn or born, whether it be Christian or non-Christian, whether it be free or slave, guilty or innocent. We respect life because God is the giver of life. God is the one in Genesis 1:27 who made all people in his image. And God is the one who cares about all people. Deuteronomy 12, we see that we are to worship God properly. That God is also concerned about our general care and provision. And that life belongs to God. A lot packed into these verses that could be easily missed. But don't forget, God is the one who is our Savior. God is the one who gives us life. God is the one who controls life. God is the one who expects worship and provides for us. We have a God that's interested in every area of our life. Let's give him every bit of us. Father, we love you and we praise you. Help us to be obedient to you, to be obedient in worship, to be obedient in our daily lives, and to be obedient in our respect and care for life that belongs to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Always a joy to be with you. Always a joy to open God's Word. I pray that you're blessed as much as I am in these times. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow again here at 11 o'clock. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.